Part of metal cutting mechanics, we are coming to the economics of machining. In the economics of machining, we have basically two objectives: is minimum cost method and the maximum production rate method. To start with this, we have involved different number of costs. So first cost is I will call as Z1, which is called as direct labor cost, or sometimes called as overhead cost. So very first cost that we have basically four costs. One is non-productive cost, we have machining cost, then we have tool change cost, which is further consists of two costs. One is tool change and one is tool grinding. So first cost is a non-productive cost. This cost will include loading, unloading, inspection, all those, and this cost is always remain constant. It does not change with respect to number of products. So whatever the production is there, per production or per production item, the cost is always constant. So we have a non-productive cost is given by direct labor cost, that is the overhead cost Z1, multiplied by non-productive time per piece, and this will remain constant irrespective of the cutting velocity, and this will usually contribute approximately 5% to 10%. So if we show this on the graph, y-axis represent the cost and x-axis represent velocity. Since the non-productive cost is independent of velocity, it is always constant value. Objective questions, they will ask you the number of curves and they identify the curves, which curve will represent which cost. The second one will go for machining cost. As we all know, if we are able to calculate the machining time, which is basically equals to length of job divided by feet divided by rotational speed n. So machining cost is given by Z1 multiplied by machining time. So if we consider here one job, that is a turning job, initial diameter equal to d, length of job is L, and the job is rotating at a speed equals to n. So velocity is given by pi d n divided by 1000, where diameter in mm and 1000 is just a conversion for mm to meters. So velocity will be meters per minute. So machining time is given by L upon Fn, where F is the feed, L is the length of the job to be cut, and n is the rotational speed. So if we want to replace this n in the machining time, what we get is n equals to 1000 multiplied by V divided by pi d. So we have machining time L divided by L, and pi d in denominator will come in numerator. So we have Fn, pi d will come in numerator. So we have L multiplied by pi. So it is pi into L into d divided by F multiplied by 1000 times V. So we have 1000 times F multiplied by V. So we'll put this equation back into here. So we get machining cost equal to Z1. So what we conclude from this one is that the machining time is a straightaway function of what? Cutting velocity. And machining time is inversely proportional to the cutting velocity. When we have inverse relation, is always represented by a rectangular hyperbola. So this curve will represent the machining cost. So as the cutting velocity will increase, the machining cost will decrease, because the machining time will decrease as the velocity will increase, and therefore the operator payment will be decreased. Now as far as the tooling cost is there, we'll consider two heads. In the first head, we have a tool change cost, because if the production required number of tool change, then it has an additional cost. We call it as tool change cost, and every time you replace the tool, you have to regrind it. So that cost will be called as tool regrinding cost. So second cost is tool regrinding cost. So how we will in short form we'll write this as TCT, and so therefore tool change cost is simply equals to the direct labor cost Z1 multiplied by number of tool failures. How many times the tool will fail? 1 time, 2 times, 10 times. The tool change time. So basically TST stands for tool change time. And what is the regrinding cost? Every time you regrind, you require another labor. So we have the second payment required for regrinding labor. We called it as Z2 as a regrinding cost. So regrinding cost is simple. Will represent this by TGC. So TGC is equals to Z2 multiplied by how many times the tool will fail, that is equals to number of tool failures. So what we need is to calculate the number of tool failure first. So let's go back to the Taylor's tool life equation first. Is Vt to the power n equal to C. Now what is the number of tool failures? So number of tool failure we can say equals to machine time divided by tool life. So what is tool life is T equals to C by V to the power 1 by n. and machining time already we have calculated. So let's substitute for this one. Divided by 1000 times FV multiplied is whole thing divided by tool life is divided by V to the power 1 by N. So if you solve this one, you will get pi into L into D divided by 1000 multiplied by F, and we can have the term of C, and V to the V to the power 1 by N will come in numerator as, and denominator we have V term. So let's say this whole constant is equals to K, and here we have a power of V as 1 upon N minus 1. So we have K into V to the power 1 minus N upon N. So remember K equals to what? Pi into L into D divided by 1000. All these terms are constant for the job production, that is the batch production. So let's back to the tool change cost. It is TCC. So it's at Z1 multiplied by K times 1 minus N by N. Remember it's a power multiplied by TCT. So what you come to know is that the tool change cost is directly proportional to V to the power 1 minus N by N. Whereas in the tool grinding cost, we can substitute for the number of tool failures as K times V to the power 1 minus N divided by N. So this time is also proportional to what? V. Both the costs are proportional to V to the power 1 minus N upon N. But one time the constant involved is Z1 and other time the constant involved is Z2. It is known that the index N is a fraction value. So 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8. 0.8 divided by N. 0.8 divided by 0.4 will be equals to 0.8 divided by 0.2 will be equal to 4. So that basically represents a parabola. So we have the curve will be something like this, which is increasing non-linearly. So suppose this curve is called as TCC, that is the tool change cost, not TCT, and therefore this will represent the TGC, the tool grinding cost. Both are functions of direct functions of V to the power minus V to the power 1 minus N upon N, that is V to the power something positive number. In addition to this, I will show here non-productive cost. So we have seen the 4 costs. One cost we have to show in this graph, that is the machining cost. So as the speed will increase, cutting velocity will increase, we require less machining time. So we have a rectangular hyperbola here. So this cost represents the machining cost. So what you observed in this one, some costs are increasing at a particular speed, and after that the some costs are decreasing. All above 4 costs, that is the non-production cost plus machining cost plus tool change cost. Please make all TCT equals to all tool change cost, not tool change time. So this graph represents the total cost. So this cost has a minimum value here. So this point represents the minimum cost or the optimum cost. You will get the optimum cutting speed. So this is how the optimum cutting speed will come in picture, which includes the optimum cost, which consists of 4 basic costs. So let's define first the optimum cutting cost. The cutting speed which maintains the balance between the metal removal rate and the cutting tool life. So now we have to discuss, that is whether we are interested in minimum cost or maximum profit or maximum production rate. So therefore we have 3 approaches for the economics. The following approaches normally applied for economic analysis in ascending order of the cutting speed. The first criteria is minimum cost criteria. So what we are interested that the cost involved in the production shop should be as less as possible. Second one is maximum profit, and thirdly we have a maximum production rate. So we can avoid the regrinding cost in the maximum production, and therefore your production rate can be increased. So basically what is the total cost is basically Z1 multiplied by non-productive time per piece plus Z1. So this is the first cost, that is the non-productive cost is. Then we have machining cost equal to Z1 multiplied by pi LD FFV upon 1000. So Z1 multiplied by pi LD upon 1000 into FV. Then we have the tool change cost. So tool change cost is Z1 multiplied by K multiplied by V to the power 1 by N, V to the power 1 minus N upon N, that is a K times, that is Z2 multiplied by K. Remember K is a constant, pi dl by 1000 F into C to the power 1 by N. What to do is that you have to differentiate this equation with the cutting speed, that is our x-axis. So we want dy by dx. So for dy by dx our cost is y-axis and x is speed. So for optimum cutting speed we have derivative of total cost divided by dV must equal to 0. So if we differentiate this and equate to 0, that is a very lengthy procedure. I will skip it. I will give the end equation. So we get V optimum equals to, V optimum is C upon 1 by n minus 1 into TCT upon Z2 by Z1 whole thing to the power n. So we have Taylor's equation is Vt to the power n equal to C. So we can solve for V as C divided by T to the power n. And if I write the same equation here, it is C divided by T to the power n. So it represents the optimum tool life, and if we compare the denominator, we get the Taylor's tool life optimum value as 1 upon n minus 1 TCT. So I advise you to remember this equation rather than the first equation. So T optimum is 1 upon n minus 1 upon into TC2 multiplied by Z2 by Z1. So you can first find out T optimum, then use Taylor equation and then calculate the optimum cutting velocity. I repeat, first find T optimum using this equation and then calculate the optimum cutting speed using Taylor's equation, not by this equation. Don't use this equation. Now for maximum production, we will not going to allow the regrinding. We are using the throwaway tips, so our production rate will be increased. Don't have to change the tool. So for regrinding is not allowed for the production. In that case, the regrinding cost Z2 will be equals to 0. And if Z2 equal to 0, then we have Z2 by Z1 is also equals to 0. So in that case, our Taylor's tool life optimum equation is become very simple. So for maximum production, Taylor's tool life is given by 1 upon n minus multiplied by TCT only, because other term is 0. So they will ask you the numerical based on these two equations. And again, you can use the Taylor's tool life equation to find out the optimum cutting speed. So V optimum multiplied by T optimum to the power n equals to const. So this is a final closing to this video, and here we have a plot of cost versus speed. Now this is a minimum cost, so we have a minima here, parabola will be upward, therefore we have minimum cost. So this represents the minimum cost. Remember, for minimum we have upward parabola, and the corresponding is the cutting velocity for minimum cost. Now we'll plot the production rate, whereas we are interested in the maximum production rate. So maxima, therefore our parabola will be downward parabola. So this axis represents the production rate. You can overlap both axes. This must be the downward parabola because we want maximum production. So this represents maximum production rate, and the corresponding to maximum value, we have a optimum cutting speed for maximum production rate. So what we conclude is that the maximum production cutting velocity for maximum production rate is always greater than the minimum cost cutting speed, and in between we have the cutting velocity for maximum profit. Prepare this topic for GATE. You always get a numerical even for IS. So this one is V cost minimum, as seen from the graph, is the lowest value, and cutting speed for production is the maximum value, too natural. In between this, we introduce the if we are interested in profit. The first one include the cost minimum.